Good afternoon. I was hoping to get on sooner, but here we are. It's 12:44. It's Sunday, and I'm here with. I actually have a list today of things that have come up this week to talk about. Some of them you may know, some of you not. But I wanted to start off by actually, I've still got my sage here, um, which is just burning out. So I was just burning some sage because I want to talk about protection and psychic protection. And I actually took a class. No, actually, I took astral projection class 2 weeks ago with Lara Starr, and I realized I needed the psychic protection class, so I completed that as well. Some of it I knew, some of it I didn't. So I always think it doesn't matter how long we've been doing this work, and you all know, if you've been following me for any period of time, that I always talk about grounding. So that's really, really important. But what is also important is other things like our psychic hygiene. But I first of all wanted to share with you that this week, or was it last week? I don't know, the weeks are going by, they're all squashed up. But I actually brought in and met my dragon protector. I'm also wearing rainbow obsidian as a protection. And this, as I saw this rainbow obsidian coming at me, it turned into this beautiful dragon. I've also been clearing my throat chakra. um, so I saw this beautiful, huge rainbow black. So if you imagine a really shiny, if you know obsidian, you know it's very shiny. It's also expensive, but shiny. And if you imagine that black shiny with the colours of the rainbow, just coming at me, and he's huge, and he actually told me his name. And again, if you've been following me for any period of time, most of the dragons tell me it's not important. We want to name them, but he was very clear. So his name's Sealy. And it's Sealy, Sealy. And he clearly stated he is my protector, and he put out these huge wings, and said, I am here to protect you, that he's always been with me. But now it was time for me to see him. I've also had lots of images of many dragons coming in. Again, we've got incoming dragons again for Earth. I see them as they're very distant right now. They're galactic dragons, and they're incoming. We're going to see more rainbows. For me, whenever new dragons are coming, or we've changed the guard of the dragons, these are brand new dragons that I'm seeing them as smalls, which means they're coming. They're coming in. These are galactics. So we'll see where that goes. But this is a brand new dragon. Oh, I'm waking up to them. He's reminding me I'm waking up to the memory. So it's a brand new dragon within my circle. And I've actually been using that black obsidian each day this week to surround me like a mirror, and protect outward the black obsidian, so that I'm protected from any of the lower negative energies. There's also, and I've talked about this before, but for many years I would do a grounding every single day. When I took Lara's class, she talks about grounding in the morning and grounding before I go to bed at night, which I've been doing. And what I found has happened is, because I am grounded in and protected, I'm actually I'm remembering some of my dreams. A couple of weeks ago, I was telling people that I don't even know if I dream. I don't remember. But since I've been doing, a very quick grounding in protection, and again, none of this has to take a long time. I think sometimes we get it in our heads that it's going to take a long time. I used to very quickly do the grounding. I take a little bit more time and maybe use some I am statements. So that has come in several areas that I'm working in right now, about the I am statements, which is again standing in our power, being powerful. I've also been seeing lots of fires, and you know the fire emoji. I've actually been seeing those little fires all around me, and what I was told the other day was that as I am, how did I write this down? I'm burning away the old around me. So as I'm shedding the old, so I've been having some upgrades like a lot of us have. So as I'm ascending a lot of this old, they're saying it's all the ancient, it's actually a lot of vows, a lot of, so they're showing me like symbols, like a Bible, all sorts of things just like falling away from me to the ground. And as they hit the ground, the fires are igniting them. So they're saying vows, commitments, lots of past life stuff. And then I'm seeing fires in the sky, which is that that fire is reaching out to protection. So fire will transmute. So the fire is igniting to transmute the negative. Lots of I am statements. Also during the class, and if you've taken any protection classes, there's also, and this is on my list to do today, I've got to write down what I need to do daily, that's morning and evening, what my weekly routine should be, and what I can do in an emergency if I feel like I'm being attacked. So what I did yesterday was to actually, and again, if you know Lara Starr, I'm repeating what she says, but I've never done a salt scrub. So I've got a nice little box now that I've got some Celtic salt. I bought some salt flakes. Yesterday I did salt flakes. I did rose water. I did coconut oil. So I sort of made a paste, coconut oil. I mean, you can put in it whatever you want. And then I scrubbed myself down, actually starting from my feet up. And then when it got really liquid, I poured that over my back. I've got a salt scrub that I use on my feet, so I scrub them really well, sort of, and behind your knees, behind your neck, in your elbows, under your arms. And it was very invigorating. I don't have a tub to soak in, so I take showers and then envision rainbow washing over you and wash it all away. So that was exciting. So that's something that I'm going to do on a regular basis. I am being guided to take soul release and understand that more. And as I talked about before, they're showing me that screen that I've put up, that barrier I've put up, has come down, and that I need to embrace. They're not telling me I need to step into it. I need to embrace the darker things. And they're also sending it, so they're reminded. So the reason that these galactic dragons are coming in is because we need it for psychic protection, and for people that do that sort of work. We're going to need this much higher vibration of dragons and galactics, and they're showing me combined. So I've also had some conversations with the Arcturians. This week I did a reading for somebody, and they were front and center talking about how they can help with all of these things. So they're reminding me not to forget that we can also connect with our galactic brothers and sisters. I also had a quick look back through some of my notes, and if you're like me, I've got books of notes and not that well organized. And for the longest time I thought I kept saying that I was, well, I know that I'm originally from, my soul originates from Mars. So I find that funny that I'm a Martian. But I spent a lot of time, and I thought it was Andromeda B, but it was actually Syria B. So I'm actually, so many, many lifetimes I spent as a Syrian. So that makes much more sense because the other didn't. And I'm like, oh, yep, get that, get that, get that. And I'm here as that healer. So Syrians were many things, but for me, that's where I've known that for a long time, but that was just confirmation. And my son was also from, it was a star, Maldek, which exploded, and then it's the Milky Way, and he also came to Syria B, which is where I worked with, where we, and I also had some memories. It's when I'm telling people about sort of why I know things, was a reminder about being an egg. I donated my eggs for experiments. Well, I didn't know I did. They'd actually, this was back in the 70s, and I've told this story several times, but I had infertility problems. They could not figure out why I could not get pregnant. And eventually, after everything, all the tests and everything, they said, we think you've just run out of eggs, and we don't know why. Then when I had this memory and message, because I met a galactic that looked very much like my son, actually a hybrid, looked very much like my son who's here on Earth with me, bit more symmetrical, darker eyes, very sort of galactic looking, with the hair, very humanoid. And he said he was one of many children that my eggs had been fertilized with throughout the galaxies. I've only ever met one. Maybe it's about time I met some more, but I've only met the one. And that sort of gave me the full body chills, because I remembered that the doctors said, we don't know why you've run out of eggs. And this was in the early 80s, because I got married mid-70s. So this was in the early 80s when we were planning to get pregnant, because that's what you did back then. You got married, and within a couple of years, you actually had children. And that didn't happen for me for 10 years, because I was 23, 33. I did eventually get pregnant, so that is interesting. Not until I adopt. So I adopted my older son, and then within the year of adopting him, with nothing was happening. So there was no way I was going to get pregnant, but I found myself pregnant. So again, I had two miracles. So I'm always grateful for that. So I like that story, because you can't make that up. I can't make up the fact that I could not have children here on Earth, and I could not. And I used to say things like, I wonder what I did in past lives that isn't allowing me to have children in this lifetime. And I was always wondering, and I was not on this path at all. I was a nurse. I was very, immersed in probably the scientific side of things. But there was part of me saying, what happened? Why can't I do this? Now I know, because there was all these other children being produced from my eggs. So it might sound scary to some of you, but it actually connected a lot of things for me. I have no idea why I just told you that story. So what else do I need to talk about? Talk about burning away. All right, just hang on. So I've got the washing machine going, and I've got the dryer going, and it's making a noise. So so I remembered also, and I don't know why I sometimes forget these things, but downstairs I had bought a card table, and I had completely forgotten that a card table for doing a reading, so I can put my cards out. Let me see if I wanted to talk about anything else. excuse me, I've put it out into ethers that I need help figuring out my throat chakra. Um, when I ground, I'm also told it's connected with my heart. So I need to do it, or I need somebody to help me release whatever it is that is causing this. So, but I've got my water here, so let's see what we need to know this week. I've been using these cards all week, which I am going to pull one. I love these dragon messages. So let's see what the theme is this week. They've been spot on all week. So this one wants to come out. Oh, dragon fire. That's interesting. I was just talking about fire. So it says, dragon fire is magical. With it, we can reignite the sacred fire that burns within. Let us breathe gently upon this now. Let the healing of the dragon flame within begin. So I'm going to, we will take a, that's very appropriate. Dragon fire. And I've been seeing fire. I'm actually sitting here burning a candle, which I've been doing every day this week. Wow, I love synchronicity. Like literally all week I've been working on fire, whatever. I mean, literally the heart that I'm looking at is sitting right here, that is on one of my altars. It's actually wings, but it could also be fire. So fire is here to cleanse. And remember, dragon fire looks like fire, but it's energy and it will never burn you. So even though you see lots of fire coming out their nose, out their mouth, and they're showing me like they're like flamethrowers, and they're saying that won't burn you. It's energy, but it looks, so it's an illusion. I love that. So the unicorns told me a few years ago that we see this, they're ascended horses, but this is not a horn, it's actually energy. But we see it, and they want it seen as that horn that comes out there, but it's actually, again, another illusion. I love that. So the fairies have also been around this week talking about all of that, the fae. I think it may be because it's fall that they're sort of coming out to play. My other favourite deck is the Sacred Soul Shadow deck, because it always picks up the right thing. So usually I ask for 3. So let's see. I've got this one here, Facing Fears. Let's see whichever one. I like that, because again, fear holds us back. Discipline. Just cut the deck. And discernment. I wondered when my friend Merlin was going to show up. Oh, he's telling me he's been busy. He's going, you've got this. Facing fears. It's not about being fearless, but having the courage to progress despite them. There's a rabbit. It's not about being fearless, but having the courage to progress despite them. So fight the fear. No discipline. So if we're not disciplined, so again, I talked about, this is the feather. I've got my feather here. No discipline. Challenging. It's challenging to stay focused and motivated. To take action, leading to feeling stuck. So if you don't have discipline and you don't have a routine, it's a bit like if you don't have a routine and you don't clean your teeth. It always comes back to me for cleaning teeth. I always say to people, while you're cleaning your teeth, you can ground yourself. Or it's like that. I can't leave the house unless I've cleaned my teeth. So discipline. But when we have no discipline, we're not focused. and discernment, which is always Merlin for me. Whenever discernment comes up, don't run from difficult emotions, sit with them and allow them to shift. And that was the message I got this week when I did the reading for somebody, was constantly, you need to sit quiet in stillness. And what I was hearing the other day was at least 15 minutes, because at the 15-minute mark, we're usually like ready to give up. And that's when you're going to get it. I mean, for some of us, it comes in like that. If you want an answer to any question, Merlin's saying, sit, be quiet, put on soothing music, visualize, all of that stuff. He's going, whatever soothes you, whatever soothes your soul, put it on and listen, and the answers will come. And the dragons say that to me all the time. Talking of dragons, let's see what the dragons have to say. It's interesting, even though I have my own dragon oracle deck, I keep getting guided to Diana Cooper's. I think because there's a lot more information in there. They're saying there is, oh, here we go. Air and water. The lilac fire dragon. Oh, and the deep blue dragon. Interesting. So let's see what they have to tell us. So this looks like a sea dragon to me. You can see. This is air and water. Helps you to connect to higher frequencies. Trust your intuition. Develop your psychic abilities. Be open to enlightenment. Express your inner song. So speak up. And actually, the planet Sirius also holds the frequency of the whales and the dolphins. And it's thought that's where they originate from. So the lilac fire dragon transmutes through the power of divine love. So I'll just put that a bit closer for you to see. And when I connected with him, his name is Lyle. Open up to transcendent love and enlightenment. Purity of heart brings hope and joy. And the deep blue dragon keeps you safe by clearing your pathway. Trust that you are protected. Walk on a path of light. Path of light. For 1 second there, I thought I wasn't recording after all this. So that's the dark blue dragon, but there's fire here as well. So that goes along with the fire message. They say, you can't make this stuff up. Like, you really can't. So let's see, again, let's have 3 goddesses for this week. To see who's going to step in with the fire and discernment. Let me see, put those like that. I've got these here. Interesting. Okay, so bottom 2 cards, Diana, Focus, Sulis, Bodies of Water, and one more, Medicine Woman. Interesting how I've placed them. So I've placed, this is the first one, Diana. Focused intention. Keep your unwavering thoughts. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target, and you will make your mark. So she's got a bow and arrow. Medicine woman, you are a channel for divine healing. There's lots of things going on in that card. And Sulis, bodies of water, spend time near water, such as a lake, river, or the ocean, to recharge your batteries. So let me see if we need... I'm going to sneeze in a minute. Oh, excuse me. It's all coming out, right? It's all up here. I guess it's got to come out. All right. So let's see. I'm being guided back to this. So let's just have a couple more to clarify. So we've got air and water and fire. So we've got those three elements. Divine love. And unwavering thoughts and feelings, and the medicine woman. So let's have one more card to see what this clarifies. Self-doubt. All right, so I think that's important to actually talk about, because we all think at times that we're making this up, or is it true? I know, like any of us that walk the spiritual path will know that there are times that when you first start channeling, or you first hear that message and you're like, who's this? I always think when, actually there's two things that happened to me that always stick out. One was when I was getting my first galactic message, which was, I had never had a galactic connection, and I was like, well, who is this? And he said, this is Commander Ashtar of the Galactic Command or Galactic Federation. And I was like, looked it up, and sure enough, it was real. I'd never even stepped into that arena, but my favorite is Merlin. So as I've told many times, Merlin was really the first person that appeared to me, the first being, the first ascended master, and he appeared to me in the woods while I was walking my dog many years ago, 30 plus years ago, and that just went right out of my head. And so I would often, like, I'd be walking. Actually, I was sometimes, when I'm listening to things, I get other messages, so I'm finding sometimes part of my brain needs to be distracted to get the message. Actually, that came to me this morning as well. But I met Merlin, and then I would often do automatic writing. And one day I was writing this beautiful message, and I'm like, I didn't recognize, or I was like, oh, this is really beautiful. And the message was about walking alongside of me and holding my hand and being with me every day. And I was like, well, who is this? And she said, this is Gwendolyn. I'm Merlin's wife. Well, I nearly fell off my chair, because first of all, I'm like, Merlin's got a wife? I mean, I just think him as a wizard. And she spelt it the Welsh way. And I looked up who's Gwendolyn, and it told me. Whether it's still there, I don't know. It may have just been I needed to look something up, because this often happens that we're convinced we read it somewhere and then you can't find it. I'm sure that's happened to many of you. It has me. I'm like, no, I remember I Googled it and it said that Gwendolyn was Merlin's wife, and then you can't find it. But anyway, this is what she told me. She was Gwendolyn's wife, and that she was there to walk beside me each day and hold my hand, and she would then connect me to Merlin, or Merlin would come that way, which happened for quite a while. And I've not actually heard from her probably for quite a few years now, but I think she comes in. So Merlin's reminding me that he is a connector. He talks about me as being a connector. He always says connector, not connector, because that's his emphasis of the connector. He says that he connects people to other people. He connected me to the galactics. He's connected me to many, actually all of, he's saying all of the things I've connected to have been through him, and not because he wants to take credit, but he said that is his job, was his job with me. And then I've worked with him, he's worked with me, he's been my dragon, I've been his dragon, I've been his scribe in many lifetimes. We go back many lifetimes, and he's saying as many others have. So it's like, it's not just what many people have these memories, because he says he would be the equivalent to an influencer. I still don't know where he gets all this from. He said he would be the equivalent of an influencer today. He said I'd be all over that machine. I'm laughing at him because he's like, I'd be all over that machine. I'd be the influencer. I'd be influencing everybody in a good way. So just remember that about Merlin. He does have a good sense of humor. He's laughing now. He's literally sitting in this big chair, and he's like holding his belly and saying, I do have good ones at times. and he's very British, very proper British. He's laughing about that. He's like, you would say proper British, right? So I actually met somebody through another group I'm in who is from London, like I am, and I knew the accent. And you know, when I've not lived there for I've been here 40 years. It's like I heard the accent and I'm like, oh my goodness, I know that accent. And he was actually from South London, which would be like being from South Boston. It's a very particular accent, and I'm like, I know that accent. So it's interesting when you meet up with people. We probably did, he's much younger than me, so there's no way we would have been in. But I did meet somebody quite a few years ago in my work, and we actually grew up. We were a few years a difference, but not that much, like a couple of towns away from each other. And we used to play netball, which is like, that's what girls did. We played netball, and I was tall, so I often played in defence. But we think that we may have played in the same sort of games together. But she was more people used to say she was more British than I was. So I always find that funny when people say, oh, but I'm obviously, I have to remind people when I meet them online that I am actually not in England. I actually live in the United States. So anyway, I think that is all from me today. I've gone on for 30 minutes. I do think that I am going to continue posting the dragon messages until they tell me not to. And I hope everybody has a good week. But just remember the elements. I think it's elementals, the air and the fire. Air, fire, definitely. So air blows on fire, or fire, yeah. So air elevates, right? So it's that bringing up the energy. Air's here to raise our frequency, to raise our voices, to clear. So yeah, think about that. Use discernment in everything that you do. Remember to have discipline and face your fears. So face your fear and do it anyway. The dragons are keeping us safe and clearing our paths. It's the lilac fire again. So we've got fire, double air, transmutes through the power of divine love. So we've got divine love around us. The air and the water is connecting us to higher frequencies and lifting us up. And then we've got be near bodies of water, focused intention, so focus your intention to hit your target, and medicine woman, remember your medicine. And lastly, don't have any self-doubt. You've got this, is what I'm hearing. I know we say that sometimes flippantly, but we've all got this. We're all here for a reason. We're all walking our paths. And I thank you for watching my YouTube channel each week. I have 2 invitations to podcasts. Again, I will let you know when they're going to air. I'm in the middle of organizing those. So I've been doing work to burn away the lower energies and elevating myself. So if you practice it, it works. So have a good week, and I'll be back soon.